Welcome to our Technology Tuesday staff meeting. In conversations with many people over the past few days, we've learned that many companies are having problems working remotely. While many companies and organizations have invested in Microsoft Office 365, it appears that a large percentage are not up to speed on how to use the Microsoft Teams application included in their subscription. Our firm was an early adopter of Microsoft Teams. Inner-City Cubes, a member of our Inner-City group of companies, actually resells the technology and works with Inner-City Underwriting under its contract with the Illinois Tollway to provide implementation assistance and training to contractors enrolled in the Tollway Technical Assistance Program. Through this program, we provide training on Teams applications as well as other key technologies included in the Microsoft 365 subscription. On Tuesday, March 17, 2020, we opened up our Technology Tuesday staff meeting to clients, business associates, and friends to provide an overview of Microsoft Teams and to share ideas about how you can use it to continue to operate during this time when we're all encouraged to work from home or in very small groups. We sincerely hope this information is beneficial, and please do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. So this is a little different than our normal Technology Tuesday meeting. And so we've decided that because I've talked to a lot of different people that are now faced with the challenge of working remotely and trying to figure out how to operate. A lot of people have the Teams technology that they don't necessarily know how to actually use it so they can operate remotely. And so I thought it would make sense for us to invite outsiders to our Technology Tuesday meeting so that we could show them kind of how we use it and offer some assistance if somebody wants to use it. Hopefully we can help clients, business associates, and friends figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
So
we have to know the in and out.
Then we do know the in and out, okay?
Well, you are the rod, but
Well,
the other
we do.
we have to know it then.
Well, we know it. We know it well. We are further along. We're further along than a lot of people. We're further along than a lot of people. Okay, so good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, March 17, 2020, and we're having our weekly Technology Tuesday staff meeting. We started this special staff meeting with the goal of getting max value from the significant investment that we've made in our technology. Normally this meeting is only to members of our firm, but we decided today that we're going to open it up so we can share tips and ideas on how we're using our tech to get work done in our organization. It's no secret that a lot of people and organizations rarely use more than 15 to 25% of the functionality built into any piece of technology. Some of the reason for this is that there's a lot of redundancy built into technology. There are like 2 or 3 different ways in which you can do the same thing. You may like to use control, the right click on your mouse to copy or cut and paste. I prefer to use Control C, Control X, and Control V to do the same thing. But again, it's how you like to do it. And so a lot of times what you're looking at in technology is you want to know different ways to do it because it may work better for you. So that's one of the reasons why people don't get a lot of value out of it. Today, though, we're holding a special Technology Tuesday meeting, and we open it up to our clients, business associates, and friends who need to learn about Microsoft Teams. A lot of companies have purchased the Office 365 subscription, and Teams is included within that subscription, as we all know. And we're fortunate as a company, although some people were kicking and screaming as we started to do it, that we were an early adopter of Microsoft Teams. And because we're an early adopter of it, we've kind of learned how to use it, and we kind of use it a lot in our organization. And so today we decided to kind of, again, open up our technology meeting and provide a brief overview of Microsoft Teams to whoever's joining us right now outside of our organization. Again, we're showcasing Teams because one of the good things about Teams is that you can have these kind of impromptu meetings where we have part of our staff here and we have our staff located in St. Louis, in Minneapolis, people working from remotely from home all join in for and participate in the meeting, as we often do, through our PowerPoint. As you can see on the screen right now, we're talking about Microsoft Teams. And basically what we're going to try to show you is that Teams is basically the concept of collaboration, how you can work together using one platform. And basically what it was intended to do is allow you to work where and when you want to work, so that information is available to you, so that you don't have to be in the same place at the same time in order to communicate and collaborate. And that's kind of what it is. We used to have, when we first started the company 25 years ago, this conference room, part of this conference room was basically cut, and it was a file cabinet area. And so you would go into the back and we'd have a bunch of files set up, and that's what we had to do to get files. And so if you wanted something, you had to go to the file cabinet, grab it out, take it to your desk, sort through it, work on it, and then get it back. The big problem is people didn't really put files back where they're supposed to be, and so you always have problems trying to do it. Then the evolution of the minute when they start having servers and you can do it, the File Explorer kind of solved that. We set up the whole shared file drive, and we've gone back. We adopted that real early. When you had a shared drive, everybody could share it, and we would let everybody have access to it from their computer. So it eliminated one of the big problems where if I had the file on my desk and you needed the file, somebody called, you didn't have to go. Now you just go right to the computer and get it done. And we've done various iterations of that. Remember, we used to have an imaging system. We had DocStar. We can go in and grab it whenever you want it, and that's what we do. Then you move to moving your files to the cloud, OneDrive. Again, basically, File Explorer was local server that everybody was here. So you really still had to be in the office, but the computers were all networked together and they attached to a file server locally. You could do some remote access, and we had it, but the cloud made the remote access a lot easier. And so a lot of people basically moved their File Explorer to OneDrive. From there, File Explorer and OneDrive allows you to just put your files in and name a folder, and then you have all your files in there based on the naming of it. SharePoint, as you know, we use SharePoint a lot, and essentially what SharePoint does, let's go back. Basically what SharePoint does, the concept of SharePoint is that it's one space, it's a point in space and time where it's been set aside for members of the organization to access the information they need to do work when and where they want to do it. But it's a structured way to do it. As we use SharePoint a lot, and the way we use SharePoint is we have libraries and lists. Libraries are basically the file structure, but the difference about libraries here is that we add what's called metadata, and metadata basically describes, the definition of metadata is that it describes data. But essentially what it does is, like, if you see we have our file folders or our SharePoint libraries, we will identify what the file is, whether it's connected to a client, all those sort of things. Like we've got the policies directory we have right now, so we have all the policies for our clients. We have it listed out so that we can pull it up. We can pull the actual policy by the client name, policy number, or the insurance company, and that's what the libraries do. The lists are always all the different ways you do it. Basically, you can take whatever you can do in an Excel spreadsheet, you can put in a list and make it available for everybody on SharePoint. And so this is not a lecture about this. We're not talking about SharePoint. One day we'll probably do one open up for everybody. We talk about SharePoint, but we've been in the SharePoint for years. Ever since that came out, we've been in that. And so SharePoint's that. Today we're going to talk about Teams, though. The concept of Teams is that, like SharePoint, it is a point in space and time that has been set aside for members of the organization to conduct open communications with each other and the full team. And the way we use it is we talk to everybody about a piece of information. And what Microsoft wants you to think about it, I mean, right, what they describe it as, it's the hub for teamwork in the Office 365 platform. And essentially, you have the key functions, you have files. It gives you the functionality of the file explorer, but it's unstructured files. But it allows you to have open communication with team members about a file or just any kind of communication with it. So as we'll show later on, that's what we're comfortable doing. Sometimes you have a file, you want to send somebody something, but you want it open for everybody. You put a chat along with that file so that people know what's going on relative to that file. Now, what they did recently, probably in the last year, right, Rod, about a year ago, they then moved the Skype for Business over to Teams.
That's correct.
So that you can now use Teams can be your actual phone system, and we use it as our phone system. You can port your phone numbers over to Teams, and then Teams can be used for your voice communication. And the neat thing about that is because Teams is available on your tablet, it's available on your desktop, it's available on your phone, you can get your phone calls anywhere you want. And we do that. And the neat thing I like it is when I'm traveling and somebody calls me in the office and I get it through Teams, that I can easily transfer it to anybody else in the office, wherever I am. And as I'm sure you've all received transfer phone calls from me, and I always love that feature where I just, oh yes, you want Kenyatta. Let me transfer you to Kenyatta. We do that with any problem. The other thing I like about Teams, and another thing I think is key, is meetings. Okay, we're having an open meeting right now. We've opened up to everyone. You can have one-on-one meetings. We often, if we call you through Teams. Natalie and I do this all the time, whereby if I call her, I'm basically saying, show me your screen. And in the conversation, you can show me your screen. We can look at it and solve the problems. And it allows you to do one-on-one training. It allows you to have one-on-one meetings. Or while we're on there, if I'm having a meeting or conversation with Larry on Teams, and we say, oh, we need to have cash. We can quickly add cash to that. We can ask anybody else that we want to add in the course of the meeting. So it's very flexible communication. And that's kind of what we like about it. Several ways to access Teams apps. And then after this, we'll go right into the actual Teams software to show you how to do it. You can access Teams through your internet browser. So it's on your desktop. And below here is basically, if you log into Office 365, this is what you'll see, all the apps that you have access to, and there's the Teams icon. When you click on this icon, it will open up in your browser, and it will give you the option of saying, do you want to download the desk or laptop app that's in Windows, and which is really the preferred way to access Teams, which we do all the time. But the neat thing about it is, if you are operating remotely and you're on somebody else's computer and you need to log in to see what's going on, this is how you would do it. And you would access your Teams this way and see what's going on and communicate that way, where you're not going through when you're not on your own. You get the mobile app. The mobile app is good for your phone as well as your tablet. You can basically see practically everything on your phone that you would see on the desktop or any of the other ways. And the experience in all the different platforms are basically the same. And that's kind of it in a nutshell in terms of accessing it. As you see in the Office 365, there are a lot of other programs in there that you can access. But Teams is really, again, what Microsoft wants to do. Teams is the hub for doing work in the Office 365 platform. Now let's go to the actual Teams. Okay. Now, what we have here is once you click on that link and it asks you whether you want to do the mobile app or whatever, this is the desktop version of Teams. And the desktop version is an app that you just access through your Windows, and it'll be there. And what we do is we have it set so that once you log on to your computer, it automatically comes up. Everybody in our company does it because, again, if it's going to be a hub for what you do business, is how you communicate. And so we use it that way. Essentially, the first thing you're going to learn about teams is that two basic concepts: the concept of a team and the concept of a channel. Right here we have a team. The team is called Inner City Cubes. That is the top level of it. Every team has at least one channel, and that channel is going to be, the first channel is going to be general. Below that, you can create as many channels as you want. Again, you create a team by down here at the bottom. You have join or create a team. I think we've all at one point in time created a team that we thought that's worthwhile for us to do. And so what's good about it is that if you think there's a team that you want to set up for a particular project you're trying to do, you can create the team. Now, what we recommend for organizations, though, is to really give a lot of thought to how you want to structure that and who you want to be able to set teams up. But again, it does give you a lot of flexibility that you can set up. You can set the team up. And then once you create the team, that means you are the administrator of that team. So, and then once you have the team set up, you get to manage the team. And when you talk about managing the team, that's basically who are the owners. So we have, for this top level team, both I'm an owner and Rod Johnson is an owner. But we have 16 members and guests. Members are people inside your organization that are on your own domain. So everybody here is a member because they have an email address and a username in Office 365. They have a username and license that I've purchased for you that makes you part of our domain, so you're a member. Guests are people outside the organization that you invite to become a member of your team. Today, when everyone has to work remotely, or we now have to, we can't work in the office, everybody's working remotely, there's got to be a lot of business that we got to be able to conduct with each other and do meetings. Really believe that this is a great way to do it, because any business partners or anybody else we want, we can invite as a guest, make them part of a team, and then in that team, we can then share information and collaborate on information. And so the members and guests are there. Now, again, there's the team, and then there are the channels. When this product was first introduced, the drawback of it was that once you became a member of the team, you were automatically a member of each and every channel within that team. It was something that you wanted to collaborate on, but you didn't want to collaborate on it with everybody part of that team. You wanted to have a subset of that. You could not do it within a channel. Now you have the ability to make a channel private so that every member of the team does not necessarily have to be a member of the channel. So, like Rod and I may have interest and be working on a project that's in Adobe. You may not have an interest in that. So there's no need for you to actually be added to that channel. If we're doing Azure database research, I'm sure as much as everybody's really excited about Azure database research, you probably don't really want to be added to be a member of that team. So you can have, you make people members of the channel that need to be part of the members of the channel. When we moved our office from the south side of our building we moved the Cube's office from the south side to the north side, we had to set up a special team for the Cube's move so that information, everything else like that. So everybody was part of that. We added as a member of that channel. But then because at the time we set this up, that means all 16 members and guests are part of that. Now we can just make whoever we want to be a member of that channel. That's an important piece to doing it. Now, again, this is the desktop application. The thing about this is that if you are, they're going to be teams in which you are a member. So whatever domain that you are a member of. So this is the inner city Cube section of our domain. But so everybody in here gets added to this. But for those channels that I am a guest of, when I'm added as a guest, it will allow me to access the channels or those other teams through this drop down. Okay, and that's important. So I am a member of the Community Insurance Center team, but I'm a guest of the Cosmopolitan Chamber team. I'm a guest of other teams that are out there that have been set up, and they've invited me as a guest. And we kind of promote this because there are times when we're working with clients or we're working with other business partners where there's a special project that we're working on that we want to be added as a guest within their team. Communication. Again, Teams is a hub work for communication and how you do work. When you're in the channels, this is the concept of working out loud. I know you guys heard me say that before, working out loud. It basically means that whatever information that we put in the channel is clearly visible to everyone who is a member of that team. And it's important because one of the things, as we saw with the file cabinet, going back to the file cabinet, one of the problems with the file cabinet was that if I had the file on my desk, nobody else could get it. And if I didn't put the file back, if somebody called in and needed it, you couldn't have it. Now, while files are accessible, what happens is that the day's equivalent of a file cabinet is your Outlook email. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that people are storing in their Outlook email that could be beneficial to the rest of the team. And therefore, we try to encourage everybody, if we're doing communications on a particular project, or there's information that we think is useful to the rest of the team, to make it available out here so that everybody can see it and access it whenever they want to do it. Every channel gets its own email address. And the reason why every channel has its own email address is because there's information in your email that you want to send to the channel to share with everybody. And so you copy the email address, and then in Outlook, whatever piece of communication you want, you can then send to this channel. Recently added is that you can now send information that's in Teams to Outlook to whoever you need. So sometimes you may see something here that you're not sure if somebody else saw it and they're more inclined to see it in their Outlook. You can go here and say share to Outlook, and then it would share that post in Outlook. You can send that post in Outlook to whoever you want to send it to, so they would see it. The post will still remain here, and basically what it does is it sends an email with a link back to this post, but now the people can actually access it there. So they've just added two-way communication between your Outlook and Teams and Outlook, and that's kind of important. Now, the thing that we like is when we first got it, remember, they didn't give you a whole lot of icons and a whole lot of emojis, which we have some people in here who are really good with the emojis and like to add all the kind of funny emojis, right? But essentially, what we set up within the company is that if there's a post that you send out to people, you want to make sure people have seen it. And so what we said was, we have an email instruction to everybody in all the different teams that we're in, that like does not mean you like it. It just means that you read it. Okay. Now, since they've started that, they've added all these other ones. So you can say you love it, which we rarely ever do. We don't really love everything, but sometimes you do it. You can say this makes me laugh. Wow. You know, all the different little emojis. And if you got more, there's a whole lot more that you can do, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like this one. I guess angry. I don't like this one. So you got all ways in which you can communicate your feelings about the message. And when we first started this, all you could do is say like. And that's why I had to do the email about like does not mean you like it. A lot of people are reluctant to say like if they really didn't like what they were seeing. But again, you can communicate, you work out loud in a channel based on whatever you post here. And the neat thing about posting is each posting has the ability, you create a message, you add a subject, and the subject is, this is a test. Then you go in here and you write, this is a test, and you can write whatever you want. You can copy, paste whatever you want. You can paste pictures, huh? You can, and then when you want to send it, you want to make sure that a certain member of the team gets it and sees it, okay? Again, this is not private communication. It's just that you want to make sure that a particular member of the team actually sees what it is that you post. You do the ampersand, and then the list of people come up. And if that list is not, that person's not there, you can type the name. Okay, she's not number. I spelled it wrong. Yeah, I spelled it right. And then you can add that one. That's a person in it. You can say, hey, and then, or a group, right? You can go and you can add mention everybody in the channel. It's like, I want everybody. I want everybody on the Cube's team to see this particular post. Okay.
I can post in multiple channels too.
Yeah, you can. You can go to different multiple channels. You can do a lot of different things. The ampersand and the name after the ampersand is that person that you want to see it. And so when you click on that, it then sends the message to whoever that you want to see it. And then they will see a red dot up here.
No, an activity.
In the activity, right. They'll see a red dot in the activity. But this is what it looks like right here. There's chat. There's a chat to somebody. So whenever you see the red, that means it's somebody trying to communicate with you. And then you go to your activity to see what they're trying to say. So earlier today, Kenyatta sent me communication. And so all your communications will be in your activity feed. Now the activity feed has two features. There is messages that people are sending me, which is the feed. And then there's messages I sent to somebody else. Sometimes you need to track, okay, what did I send to somebody and do it. So you got two ways to see it. You have a funnel that you can filter based on what you want to do in terms of your search. So you can type up here and search for a particular message. You can do a lot of different things that you want to do in terms of finding it. Because one of the things about this is that, as we all know, over time, a lot of information gets added there. All right, so you need to find ways to search it, and you put in there and try to search for it in different ways as you do it. Now, excuse me? Yeah, you can do a lot of different things. You can see the add mentions. You can see you can search by, you can filter by your replies. You can first, this would be a good way to track Natalie based on the reactions and stuff. She's good about giving you a reaction. So you can track by reactions.
You can see what's trending too. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, they've added a lot of different things in it. Remember, one of the good things about this, while we've used it all the time, sometimes they add so many different features to it that sometimes we need to get caught up on it too. But yeah, these are all the things in which you can do search by and filter through in terms of the communication. It's really powerful in that feature. Now that's Teams. Again, when you communicate in a team, in a channel within a team, it is working out loud. Everybody who is a member of that team or that particular channel can see the information. Even if you just add mention one or two people, add mentioning within the team or the channel basically says, this is a piece of information. I want to make sure you see it. Now, everybody else will see it. Now, for owners of small companies or companies that don't have a large staff, one of the good things I see in this is that depending on where you got the team, you got different teams or you got different projects, you can track the history of the project from beginning. And a lot of times you can just, again, people own their own companies who had to run the company. A lot of times they want to see what's going on. And again, you get to do this when and wherever you are. And if you got some free time and you want to go to a channel, you can just see what's going on in the channel. I recommend that for everybody. If you're a member of a channel, if you got some free time, you want to follow up and see what's going on, because just by looking at it just in chronological order, you'll see different things that are out there that you may not realize are still out there. And I think that's a good way to remind you where it is. So when you look for it again, you can do it. And you see, we've been going on this a long time on this channel. We go all the way back to October. We can go back all the communications that we put on this channel for different things. And you can see you can add links, you can add pictures, and a lot of times what's good about sending links to other websites and whatever else is going on within the company. Again, out loud. When you want to communicate privately, That's called a chat. And when you do a chat, whatever you send in there, you identify the person you want to chat with. Cancel. I don't want to do that. You can search whoever you want to search for, and you can type a message to that person. Chats are only to the people that you are chatting with. All right. Teams and channels are with the channels. Chats are only with the people that you're chatting with. And that's how you kind of do a private communication with people within that. When you have the phone, when you add the voice package to Teams, you can call the person. So, and a lot of times, I mean, I'm not sure how, again, we got 10 different ways to do things. And a lot of times when we started out, we talked about the reason why a lot of people, there's 15, 20%, because there's so much redundancy. All right, we have our teams connected to our phones. So some of us like to just go right through our computer screen and only call. All right, I think Natalie's that way. Cash, you're that way too. You're more on the headset. Your phone. I am primarily phone connected, so I like to have the voice come through the phone, but I get to see what's going on the screen through the screen. But we all have different ways in which we want to do it. But the neat thing about it is that you can click here and do an audio call to the person. You can click here, and then once you got the audio call, you can then share your desktop with them. Or if you want to see each other, you can do video. So yeah, audio and video phone calls right from it. Which again, as we talk about this, right now we're in unprecedented times where people are gonna have to find ways in which they can work together remotely from wherever they are and can't get together. The ability to have so much flexibility in terms of how you communicate with people is one of the strong features of this particular piece of software. And I feel fortunate that we've been doing it for a long time and that we're pretty far along in terms of doing it. So we got flexibility.
That's perfect social distancing.
That's perfect social distancing, right? Can't get more social distancing than clicking somebody here and doing that, right? And so you can do that, but it's almost as if you're in the office. Again, somebody calls, when Natalie's working from home, somebody calls her, she needs to transfer that phone call to Kenyatta gets it, or somebody calls the office and they hit the operator, she can send it to Natalie where she is remotely. If there's some information, communication got sent to her, she can get it. The filing system is available to everybody, okay? And so that is the key strength of what we're doing in terms of this whole program. Now, that's chatting or communicating with somebody one-on-one or in groups. So you got the teams where you have the channels and the teams. You have the chat. Activity is basically everything that's happening for you. Okay, Kamari reacted to my post that this is a test. So the test I sent out, she sent a thumbs up to me to show me that she's on and she saw the post. All right, and this is your activity or the activity of somebody else. You add the calendar feature to it. The calendar feature will tell you everything that you got going on in your calendar. And the neat thing about it, this links into your Outlook. So because it's part of the Office 365 suite, when you set up an appointment on your calendar in Outlook, it automatically is available for you in Teams. Is when you put something on your calendar for an appointment, or you accept an invitation on your calendar, it will show up on your calendar in Teams. And you can also, another good thing about it is sometimes you want to do a meeting and you want to do a meeting now. You have the option to do meet now. So where we're going to do 3 or 4 people. And so we decided, we have an impromptu meeting. You click meet now and then immediately invite everybody that you want to add to that meeting to meet right now, or you can schedule a meeting within Teams. Then it's strictly a Teams meeting. When you're in Outlook, you have the ability, and what I always do now is I schedule my meetings in Outlook, but I always click there's a Teams button in Outlook that allows me to add a Teams meeting feature to it. We have the calling package, we have the call-in package, so that immediately when we send out that, to anybody that we invite outside automatically gets a call-in number and a code if they just calling in. What I like about the Teams meeting over all the other meetings that I might get invited to is that with Teams, all I gotta do is click join the meeting. All right, we all got to join the meeting, right? Problem I have is that when other people invite me to meetings and it's not on the Teams platform, I gotta download the stuff, and then I gotta do it. And then if you're driving, which a lot of times I'm doing, I gotta remember to do it. And if you're doing it on your phone, you gotta have a good memory to remember what the code is. Once you dial it, you go back. In Teams, you click the button, you're right into the meeting. And I love that feature. I get almost irritated about other features where I've got to type in the code. Now, if you don't have Teams, you get the traditional way of clicking the button and you call in and you have to put the code in for those who don't. But if you actually have Teams, regardless of whether you're on our team or somebody else's team, somebody sends you a team invite, it will automatically bring you into that meeting. I love that feature. So I love it when somebody else has Teams and they invite me, because Ryan and I just did a meeting yesterday. It was real simple, real easy. Everybody had Teams, clicked on, we had the video, it was flawless. And so that's the beautiful thing about the meeting features. The phone calls, again, you can add the voice package to it, and you can basically make a phone call to whoever you want to make a phone call to. And then you just click on it and make the phone call. Inside Teams, up here you have what's called, this section, what you see right now, are the posts. That means anything, again, communication that we have out loud, everybody sees. Behind the scenes are files. All right. And what happens with files, this works just like the traditional file system that we have in File Explorer. You basically have folders, and whatever you have in there, whatever file you have in there, that's what you put in there, and it's there. So you can grab a file from your desktop and just drop it in there, and it's in there as part of the files. Okay, and so the files are there. What's also neat is when you attach a file, you can attach a file and write something, make a post to that file. The file that you attached will be in files. All right. You will see email. Whenever you send an email message to the channel, there's a folder set up called email messages. So
all the emails go into that
automatically go into that folder. So you can search through here strictly for all the email messages that were sent based on what the title was of that email message, the reference in the title, that email messages. And so that's there. Now, we set up, the neat thing about Teams is that you can, again, what Microsoft says they wanted to do, and I'm almost doing a Microsoft commercial here today, but again, I think it's effective, and I think we need to think about how we can use this for operating during these kind of times. You can sync these files to your desktop. All right. Now we took a folder. We have a system in our operation right now whereby all the client folder drives, we have it set up in Teams, and we have we sync that folder to our drive. Now here's the change. Remember, before we used to have to open it up in SharePoint to sync it. Now you can just sync it right out of Teams. So this is a change that we may not realize. Because remember, the instruction was before, open it up in SharePoint, and then in SharePoint, sync it to your local drive. And then when you do that, then when you go into your File Explorer, I think like here, you go in your File Explorer right here, all your stuff is in there. So you have a shared drive somewhere. I don't think I have it on this one because it's not my computer. I'm working off a different computer, but it will sync to your desktop on your computer. So you can then operate with your files right out of File Explorer, but you can then access them through Teams. Again, here's the advantage of it. You're not always going to be on your own computer. Sometimes you may be somewhere else and you need to access your information. This gives you the ability to access it from wherever you are, and do it. So you can access it through Teams, through the files. We won't talk about SharePoint today, but this is basically built on a SharePoint platform. So every team actually gets a SharePoint site. So when you open it up in SharePoint, and now you have a SharePoint site. And this is not, it's common, everybody's seen the different SharePoint sites that we have. So you can have a SharePoint site. Now the thing, obviously the functionality you have in SharePoint is you can add some more things to it. You can actually add other features to this. You can actually add a column to describe this information a little bit better. You can add categories, all that. But in here, you get your documents, you get access to conversations. They'll take you right into Outlook for your conversations. It just does a lot. So again, that's the SharePoint piece. Go back into Teams and your Teams. So a quick overview of this, and we only really just touching and scratching the surface of what you can do with Teams. Is what Teams allows you to do is you can basically set up a team for everybody in your organization, add them in there. In there, you can have a shared drive for everybody to work out of. Now, when you in files, one of the features you got in files is that if you decide you want to do a new document, you can actually create a Word document or an Excel document or PowerPoint or OneNote, or you can do forms for Excel if you want to do it. You can create that right here, which will open up in the browser inside Teams. It gives you the option of then connecting to the desktop app of that program. So when you set up, I want a new Word document, you basically type in, this is a test, you create it. Yeah, and that's the key. That's one of the advantages of this. Now you're saying, okay, so why do we need this? Why don't I just open up Word and create it? One, this will, whatever you type here will automatically be saved. Okay, so you don't have to worry about filing and saving, because I don't know if you guys have ever done it, but I've worked on projects where I forgot to save something. And
or if we get a blackout.
Yeah, you get blackout, right. Or you forgot something and you didn't save it and you lost it.
That was annoying. Microsoft was annoying for that. Word, was annoying for that.
Yeah. And so you had to always go back and save it. So you had to think in your mind, did I save it? Did I save it? Did I save it? All right. And so this is a test. And so you don't have to, this is a test to show you don't have to save it. All right. So you don't have to save it. It gives you that. Now I can open this up in the desktop app. And now this is the desktop app. And then I can add to it. And then I can just close the desktop app, remove the files I had. I resume editing here. And there you go. I've added to it and it's right there. What I also like when you work, huh? You know that? Okay. So yeah, that's why we had these Technology Tuesdays too, because we can show different things that people didn't know. And we've all showed tips to each other for doing it. But the other thing I like about doing this is that if you're working on this document, all right, and now this document again is available it's in the channel. And remember, anything in the channel, you can then make it available for everybody else in the channel to work on. And so you said you add a conversation, and in the conversation you say, and I often do this, when we're working on a project, we're working on a report, we started out in the channel, you say, take a look at this and let me know what you think. You can mark it up, but I can say add Natalie. Add Larry. Oops, if I can spell his name right, I should get it right. There you go, add Larry. And then I click send. And then I just close it out. I don't have to worry about saving it or anything. And then I go to the channel. Here's a document that I just sent with the ad mention to Natalie and Larry. It's right there for us to work on together. I started it there. So again, Excel spreadsheets, you can do the same thing with Excel spreadsheets. You can do the same thing with PowerPoint, whatever you want to work on, and you want to get other people to work on it. And then again, this is out loud. So everybody here, while Natalie and Larry are here, it doesn't stop anybody else from the team to add their own 2 cents to what they want to do on it. Now, within the Word document, you can restrict editing. There are a lot of things you can do there. That's not the purpose of our getting together here. So you got the channel, you got the team, you got the channels, you've got the post, which are these, you have the files. Then you can add other things. Wikis, we never use wikis, although I see here we did. You can use wiki. Wikis are like little short pieces of communication that you want to add if you're going to do it. I never use it. You can add a notebook, the Microsoft OneNote. So, huh? Okay, so there you go. Somebody uses it. I try to use this from time to time. What I found is with the Word being in there, I can basically create something in Word, and then I'll have it in there. This is a piece of technology that I played around with. I try to do it. When you have a special project, often you're going to have to do task, and you do Microsoft Planner. So you can add Planner in there, and then you can set up tasks that you can send out to everybody and notify everybody. That's a different subject. And then there are other things you can add. Whatever you want to add here, you can click here, and then all the different things that you can add to a particular channel within it. Because whatever you add here will be within that channel right there. You go to another channel, it won't be available. So these are all the add-ins that you want. So if there's a special website that we always go to, like sometimes, I think we have one channel where we have a website that we go to all the time. And so we just put that one up there that we need. You can add all the different, there's a lot of stuff you can add in there. These are all the different apps that you can actually add to your channel. And so, and what happened is that this will happen within your channel. You qualify that. This will be, I think this is only available to you when you set it up, or is it available to everybody in the channel? Rod.
Yeah, it's everyone in the channel.
Everybody in the channel.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you add this, everybody in the channel gets to see it, not just you. All right, and so that's kind of it. So you got activities. Now you have activities. You have chat. Again, activities. Your activities and people. It gives you a chronological list of what everybody sent you that you can see. So as you get the red dots, they'll show up here as well, and then you will go in there and see what's happening. It'll take you right to that post, regardless of what channel you're in. You got chats. Anybody chat with you, you can go there and see the chat. Teams and channel. You got your own calendar. You got phone calls that you can make, and it records. The neat thing about this is not only does it phone calls, but it will do the voicemails for you. It stores the voicemails, both the actual recording, and it will do a transcript. So we all get our own transcripts, right? And so we never lose our voicemails or anything like that. And so we know when somebody calls us. So somebody says, I called you. And we say, okay, well, I'll look through here. I don't see I got a phone call from you. Okay, you can see, you can get a listing of that. We got the files. Rod added this. This doesn't apply to us, but for organizations that have people who work in shifts, you can actually add this piece of technology to it, so that if we were working different shifts, we could have the time when you're working. Okay, that doesn't work to us because everybody likes to work 24/7 here, so that's not a problem. All right, all right. And you go down here.
Maybe it could be relevant for new people because sometimes we have new people who have them working from 1 to 3, or from 9 to 3.
And if we ever get, I got you. If we decide to get some part-time people that we're going to do when they come in, we're going to have some people. So when we have people who are doing part-time and we want to know when they're working, we can add the shifts to it. Right now, we don't. But there are organizations where the shifts will make sense, and you can do it. It's a modified shift kind of thing you do. Yeah, you can do that. I haven't really got into it because it doesn't apply to us. Lastly, you have the command line. Now, we don't use this right now, but I want to make sure we start thinking about it. If you hit the slash, all right, and anybody who's real old will remember a program called Lotus 123. Okay, there you go, Margaret. Go ahead. There you go. All right, the senior citizens of us in the house, we remember Lotus 123. And Lotus 123, you hit that slash. Remember that the slash was the key to everything in Lotus 123. Okay, everything. All right, that was before the mouse. All right, there was a time you operated a computer, you didn't have a mouse too. We're showing our age, Margaret. Okay, and so when you do that, go back up here. All right, you're in there. Up top, I'm sorry, I lost it again. Okay, you go up here top, you hit your slash. Here are things you can do. You want to set your availability. Now we're available. Now I'm available. I got the green. Okay. Slash. I'm away. You see the clock? You see that? I'm not here. Okay. Slash. I'm busy. Don't bother me.
No, do not disturb is.
Do not disturb. That means you're on the
Yeah,
phone right there with the
that
busy.
means that you're in a
That
meeting
you're on a
or you're
meeting or
busy.
on a call.
Yeah, or in a call.
Okay.
But do not disturb is don't bother me.
Don't bother.
Oh, so you can still bother me with being busy?
Yeah, you can still
Oh,
bother
okay.
me.
So that's why.
Yeah.
That's why y'all been bothering me so much. I didn't realize that. Okay.
No.
Now we know. Now we can
want to say.
I'm good at the not disturb.
I see. Okay. So you got all these. Okay. If you want to just call somebody, you can just click this and make a phone call directly. All right. So there are a lot of things you can do with the slashes, and so I'm gonna advise everybody to play around with it.
You could also do it in your icon.
That's what I usually do with my icon.
And you could go.
You can do busy, right. But in your icon, all you can do is available, busy, whatever. Here, you have more options about what you can do, because you can go, here's your do not, D&D. You can actually you can see recent files. You can do ask help, get help on Teams. You can get the keyboard shortcuts for how you go through different things.
I didn't know this stuff.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that you can do in there with the slash. And again, this is a throwback to the Lotus 123 days. So there'll be people on this call that will remember Lotus 123, and they'll do it. And then ask who a question about somebody or something like that. So you can play around.
In Teams, so you can always get updated.
Yep, that's a good one. What's new in Teams? So it takes you. Sorry, this page you're looking for can't be found right now. Okay, I don't know why. Yeah.
Sorry, due to the coronavirus.
All right, but you can do a lot of different things with that. Again, recap. Teams. There's a lot of flexibility in terms of what you want to do with teams. We recommend organizations where we think about how they want to set up their teams, but they will organize it around how they do work, and then structure it for who you want to be part of different teams. In it, you set up your file sharing structure. The files in here can also be synced to your local desktop. So anybody who's a member of this team will also be able to sync these files to their local desktop as well, so that you can work on it in File Explorer, and then once you save it, it will automatically go back and be available to the team as well. So you have that capability. We talked about chat, talked about activity, talked about calls, talked about files. Again, we did this again so that people who have questions about teams or want to figure out how to work remotely, they have the ability to do this. Anybody has any questions, we are available. I'm sure you have my email address, and we have Rod, who is our Chief Technology Officer for Inner City Cubes, and we are making his services available to our clients. Yeah, 24/7, right? Natalie said 24/7, Rod. I want you
Gee,
to know that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Glad you volunteered me like that. Thank you.
Yeah, but that's what we're doing. Again, thanks for joining us. If you're out there, and let us know if you got any questions about what we have to talk about.